Walmart is preparing for something epic. In a time where most people are complaining about the economy, high prices, and getting laid off, Walmart is announcing plans to open hundreds of more stores, increasing salaries for store managers to 300K plus stock, and trying to encourage their regular employees to buy Walmart stock by doing a 3-to-1 stock split, their first in over 20 years, as they officially become a dividend king, meaning they've literally raised their stock dividend every year for over 50 years straight. And despite all this, and Walmart really doesn't want us talking about this, but they've essentially allowed an identity theft ring to operate out of the parking lots for the better part of the last year and a half. But here's where it gets interesting for us Spark drivers. With all these investments that Walmart is making, Spark drivers and Walmart home delivery are a big part of Walmart's future plans. Now, although Walmart hasn't done much since this bot problem really started last year, I've noticed a trend of things lately that seem to be going in the right direction, and I'm calling this the purge. And let me break it down for you. Right now, the biggest problem that most Walmart Spark drivers have is bots. Now, bots, fairly or not, are consistently associated with illegal immigrants, and immigration coincides with one of the biggest topics of America during an election year. The court of public opinion would typically be on Walmart's side if they started to address the issue right now. Now, I want to be clear, illegal immigrants in and of themselves are not specifically the problem. The specific problem is the actions of the cheaters and hackers. Now, I'd be talking just as much shit about them if they were American. And by the way, I'm a first generation American, which means I come from immigrants, legal ones, by the way. But either way, it's not the people, it's their actions. Now, whether it be hackers, whether it be bots, whether it be grouping phones, whether it be groups of people grouping phones. And of course, the biggest problem, and I think this goes unmentioned half of the time, but is the actual underlying identity theft market that this all supports, especially as we're into tax season. Now, Business Insider just recently did a story proving that Walmart Spark drivers' identities are being stolen. As a matter of fact, Walmart sent letters to Spark drivers addressing the issue, and there were even Facebook posts about people mentioning that they were seeing deliveries done on their account that they did not do, and of course that they didn't get paid that money, and at the end of the day, that's still going to go on their 1099s that they receive from Walmart Spark. Now, this is not to mention how many other millions of Americans that are having their accounts stolen, that are having their information stolen, that are already on these gig app platforms that have no way of finding out until they get a random 1099 in the mail from some company that they never worked for. And if you really think about it, on the other side of the coin, there's somebody who's getting that money, not paying taxes on it, and probably using taxpayer benefits while they're at it. And speaking of taxes, are you looking for a way to file your taxes for free? Well, with the Solo app, you actually have the ability to file your taxes for free through a special offer with their partners Column Tax. With Solo, subscribers on a Pro or a Pro Plus plan can file their taxes for free, including all of their automatically tracked mileage and earnings. Plus, you can easily add any other relevant mileage and expenses, as well as income from other jobs. And if you're not a Solo subscriber yet, sign up for a Solo subscription and enjoy all the benefits, including automatic mileage tracking, market insights, smart schedule, and pay guarantee, especially considering you can get an additional $10 cash back if you're a first-time user of Solo and you sign up for a subscription plan using my link in the description section and pinned comment below. Thank you so much to Solo for sponsoring this video. And back to what I was saying about the purge. So now, the purge is Walmart's effort of 4 things they've been doing lately that seem to indicate that they're trying to clean things up. So first, have you ever been getting a Spark order loaded up in your car and then you heard like a commotion going on at the next car next to you when you're at curbside pickup? Well, just this past weekend when I was working Walmart Spark, I was getting an order loaded up into my car. Now all of a sudden I noticed one of those little commotions going on. I overheard the loader next to me asking the guy who's loading my car, how do I cancel an order? This person isn't who they say they are. Now, when it was all said and done, that didn't happen. The guy kind of jumped the gun, but it kind of caught my attention that that was his first solution, that the way he did it was kind of sneakily, but ultimately it seemed like something that he was doing in spite of the driver, not in benefit of the driver. And of course, this isn't the only thing I've noticed. I also noticed recently Walmart Spark is reiterating, expanding, and increasing the frequency of the identity verification. I've noticed I've been having to do this facial scan thing a lot more often. It's been at least every week recently, if not every 3 to 5 days. I definitely notice it whenever I change zones and back. and especially after I haven't worked Walmart Spark for a couple of days. Now, I'm not saying this is a solution in itself, but it's part of a strategy. Like the next thing that I noticed is that they're actually getting on top of making sure people update and verify their insurance information. And basically they weren't doing anything of that sort before, because when I most recently updated my insurance, it had been expired, or at least the copy on the Walmart Spark app had been expired for months. Some of this is making people update their insurance too early, too late, whatever it may be. And once again, just like the other thing, it's meant to catch people who slip through the cracks, who can't get their information updated on DDI, etc. It's just, like I said, part of a strategy because it's less effective than the ID check, since people can update and literally put anybody's insurance card on there as long as it has a date in the future. And finally, number 4, and this is the big one that I've noticed, that this is not in my zone, but it's in other people's zone. Some stores are starting to check and validate IDs. Now, I saw some stories on Reddit, but even more recently, I put a community post up and got feedback from people saying that they've had this happening on their stores. People say they've been told it's going to be happening in other stores in the future. And of course, this could all be capped. This all could be one-offs, but let me know what you're seeing in your stores and your markets in the comments below. Have you seen any type of purge-like activity? None of these things individually solves a problem, but all of these things collectively would consistently put downward pressure on people without real identities, people who are stealing identities, etc., and using bots, delivering Walmart Spark orders, stealing orders from legitimate drivers. But if this purge really is happening, shouldn't drivers be seeing more orders, or when should drivers expect to see more orders? Now, before I get into that, if you're getting value from this video, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel as well. So in regards to the orders coming back, you got to understand the purge is a process, and fraud is a cat and mouse game, with Walmart being the cat. So to understand what's happening with order volume, right now inflation is still hitting hard, which means people are spending the same amount of money and they're getting less groceries every month. Right now, one of the biggest expansions of Walmart Plus and Walmart Delivery is into government assistance households. And they get a discount on Walmart Plus, as a matter of fact. And if that's not enough, these orders are not able to tip with the government assistance cards, with their EBT cards. They're able to add tips onto those orders, but it takes extra steps and of course is more cumbersome, which means that those orders are going to have less tips in the long run. Now, because of the increased volume of orders, there should technically be more incentives to help us take more orders and get those to going through. But depending on your market and depending on your day of the week, that may or may not be true. Now, finally, the ugly part, and Walmart Spark really doesn't want us to talk about this part either, but caught up in the purge will be some legitimate drivers, potentially you or I. I mean, it's already happening with these identity verification becoming more frequent. You're seeing legitimate drivers get deactivated from the platform, then have to go to this reactivation process to potentially get reactivated. But who knows if that'll really happen or not. After what I mentioned with Walmart going to court in the near future in my last video, it would make sense that Walmart needs to treat their employees right, needs to treat their Spark drivers right, and essentially needs to get all the things in order to look like shining model citizens of this gig economy. Now, if you want to learn more about what Walmart Spark is doing to cover up a huge mistake as they potentially prepare for court, then watch this video now.